How's it going there, guys? James here from Butler Farms on a work day afternoon, just trying to get a few things done out here. And to say that our prayers been answered for some rain is an understatement. We have been so dry here, wildfires here in Alabama, farmers and gardeners everywhere waiting to put seeds in the ground, and those that were already had plants in the ground struggling, man. You know, around here I'm having to tote water to my gardens and to my raised beds, but no more, because we've had a significant amount of rain over the last 2 to 3 days. We got a break right now, but I gotta hurry because it is already rumbling back here behind me. Another round's coming through. Don't expect this one to be we're gonna have some winds and some issues like that, but as far as like heavy downpours, this is gonna be a good steady rain, and then we're gonna get a break for a day or two, and then it's gonna set in again. So that's perfect for the garden. You know, give it time before it's one thing to get a good hard rain, but most of that runs off, especially you can see what I deal with here. But the steady rain that allows to soak in, then get a day or two of dry, or relatively dry with little spotty showers, but then it rains again, so it's really getting down to the roots. But I just wanted to give you an update on the gardens real quick, and another reason I got to hurry is because it is, now that it's rained here in Alabama, you know, there's one thing, there's hot, there's cold, and then there's humid. And a lot, you know, obviously after all this rain, it is humid out here, sticky. And so this camera keeps trying to fog up on me, so I'm gonna try to make this as quick as possible. Now, I'm not gonna go inside any of the fences today, simply because I'm short on time, and I'm definitely not gonna go walking through that garden as wet as it is. But I did want to bring you up to speed, and you can see right here what size these onions are starting to get after I ringed them and after they've gotten some of that good rainwater. Guys, I could bring that old water out of the faucet down here every single day, and it would not do what this is doing. Now, I've got some issues down here that I still need to wring those out. I've done it a couple of times, and I guess this hard rain kind of covered them back up, but you can see what we've got going up here and how big some of those onions are getting. So I'm gonna move on around here and let you see. Now, I've given up on the carrot beds. You can see the little rows down through there, but they're not gonna make anything, even if they did. After talking with Danny down at Deep South Homestead, you know, summer carrots in the South, even if you can get them to grow and get them not to bolt, are going to not be really that good to eat. So I'm gonna pass on those. Again, I've got to make some different plans for carrots to can and stuff like that. But what I did do is, you can see right there in the middle, I have put my watermelon transplants here. And yep, I'm going to grow watermelons in the raised beds. There's 3 of them. There's 1, 2, and then there's one right here. So they're getting a good dosing, and they ought to take off here pretty quick, especially with the warm weather that we've got coming. And yeah, so we're going to try to grow some heirloom watermelons. These were given to me by a lady at my church, and the guy that gave them to her actually called me on the phone when he found out I was interested. Never met him, and he gave me the history of them, and we can count back at least 6 generations in his family. So looking forward to see what those do. I never had a lot of luck with watermelons, but that was in the in-ground garden, having to fight deer that just love to punch holes in them. Guys, look at that lettuce bed. And we cut and cut and cut and cut and cut out of that lettuce bed. Never had lettuce like that, and you know, it's not going to be good for too much longer, simply because it's going to start getting bitter. But we're going to enjoy it while we can. This good rain that we've had has really jumped it up. But here's my orphan onions down here, not nearly as big as what you see in the other bed, but they're coming. You know, for onions that I didn't think were going to make anything at all, I'm proud of them. So that's what's going on up here in the raised beds. Now let's take a quick walk down here to the garden. I'm just going to do this all in one video, simply because, like I said, I'm kind of racing against the clock. It is a work day, and so I don't have all night with the time that I have to get up in the morning to go to work. So I got to get a lot of things done while it's not raining, because with kids and everything else, I've got plans tomorrow night, so there's no way I'm going to be able to get anything done then. So Guys, look at what we got going on here. These are my beans up top, and where I replanted some of those gaps, they are starting to pop up out of the ground. And then here is my Mississippi pink eye purple hulls down here. Now, I know you can see we've got some weed problems right there in between the rows. That's not a big deal. Once it dries out a little bit, these rows are still far enough apart that I will be able to come and run the tiller through there. The first couple of times I can run the tiller, and that's a big help because it only takes about one pass, and I'm able to get in between these rows, and then it'll be the hoe from then on. But some of these gaps are starting to fill in, some are starting to pop up. But you see, we got a good stand of the Mississippi pink eye purple hulls, and looks like we're gonna have a pretty decent stand of beans up top as well. So looking forward to that. Now, this is what is really starting to jump off now, and you can see right there, those are my 3 zucchini plants, and they're already threatening to take over the entire garden. Up top we've got my yellow squash, and then my butternut squash down there on the end. But look how big some of these tomato plants are already getting. If you remember back, if you've watched the videos, the tomato plants, when I put them in, were, I guess, about 6 inches. That's only been 2.5 weeks ago, I guess. And man, they are coming. So I'm gonna have to start tying those up pretty soon, especially if you look down here at what some of these are doing. Now, these are the cherry tomatoes down here, so they're gonna start putting on first. And guys, just look at that. Look at all the blooms on there. So won't be long, we'll have tomatoes here in bunches. You can also see one thing that I've done here, and that is I've put my copper coils in the ground. You can see it right there in the middle of the screen, and I don't have enough to really go around, so I've kind of had to space them out. There's another one right there in between these tomato plants, and I really believe in that. If you want to see more about it, and the guy that is kind of the expert on it, go on up there to Hills Mills farm and look at some of his stuff and what he grows, and by putting that copper in the ground, I can't explain it, won't even try to, but those copper coils, man, there's something to them. There absolutely is. It's like fertilizer that you don't even have to put out. The row behind that are my pepper plants, and they're coming along. Really hadn't had enough warm weather to get them to jump yet, but they've almost doubled in size, I guess. And so that's my jalapenos, and that's my bell peppers. We eat a lot of peppers, and so it won't be long for them either. But I'm pleased with what I'm seeing right now. I'm not pleased with all the grass in the garden, but like I said, it has rained and rained and rained, and so that's what happens. Just look at that down through there, guys. That looks like food to me. That's a lot of meals down through there, a lot of jars of food, and I am proud of it. And as you know, as I've said many times, this garden will continue to go that way. One of these days, here's the end of it. And that's poison oak right there. I got to do something about that. But this garden will go way on around to almost where those trees are, so it will double in size. And then years ago, before my time up here, before I married into the family, not only was all of this down here on this flat where I am now, and then all the way up to the trees where it starts going up that little hill, not only was that all in garden, but her great grandfather carried it all the way up to about where my blueberry bushes start right there. So all of this from this terrace right here all the way up to about where my blueberry bushes are, and all of this was in garden. So who knows, one day when I get to slow down a little bit, that might be a possibility. Now, people have been asking me about my blueberries and things like that. You can see they're just jamming along. Some of them are starting to get a little bit of color to them. You can see down in there. There's one down here that I saw the other day, and now that I'm looking for it, I won't be able to find it. But guys, just look at here. Look at all of that. That comes from pruning. That comes from good stock. Again, I do not ever buy a fruit tree or a blueberry bush or anything else from a big box store, find you a friend, a neighbor, just someone that you drive by their place and they got blueberry bushes everywhere or fruit trees everywhere, and ask them, you know, to in the winter to let you have some of them, and go out there and dig those shoots up and move them, because if they're working in their area, they're going to work for you too. So that's what we've done here. These all came off of my dad's stock down at his house, and now not only am I getting I'm continuing to get shoots off of him, I am producing my own shoots now. But just look how they're hanging in here. Look at all this. I am excited about that, guys. I eat a lot of blueberries. My oldest daughter will come out here with me. She doesn't bother to help pick them, but she keeps her hand about wrist deep in that bucket all the time, and she'll just stand out here and eat them and eat them and eat them. And I love them fresh, but as you know, I put them up, I freeze them, and on the mornings when I'm actually at home and can cook breakfast, I always have me a little bowl of blueberries that I lay out before I ever start cooking breakfast. And about the time it's ready, they're still real good and cold, but not frozen, and I just love to eat them like that. But I'm also going to try some blueberry jam. I've got me a recipe that I'm going to try. One last thing before I cut you loose here. Look at the size that my pears are getting. I don't know how well that's showing up out here in this light, but just look at them hanging in there, man. I am so excited. I have babied these things, and I have worked with them, and I have pruned, and I didn't prune enough. I know that. Some of you that have fruit trees go, man, you got way too many limbs too close together, and interior stuff. And this year I mainly cut out a bunch of the limbs that were crossing and touching and those kind of things, and then topped it. And I mean, you can see pears all the way up there. So very excited about that. The one right now here, my apple trees still aren't doing much, but they're young, they're coming. Maybe next year. But these pear trees are a little bit ahead, and always have been as far as growth and everything else. And so this one's even taller and bigger, but just look right there. Just pears hanging in here everywhere. And guys, when it comes to canning and things like that, you can do with a pear the same things you can do with an apple. And so down here in the South, I know that there are apples made for the South, but we can just use them the same way as apples. We can make pear sauce. I can them pear slices in a real light syrup. I don't like a heavy syrup. I like to be able to, you know, taste the fruit. I'm also one of those people that don't salt food, but I mean, I'll cook with it, but I'm not going to salt it on my plate because I like to taste the food, not the salt. So I'm weird like that, I guess. But that's just a quick little trip around. Just heard the thunder again. I don't know if it picked up on camera or not, and it is really starting to slick over back there towards the west. So we got that next round coming in, so I got to get up here to the shop and deal with some storm damage. It didn't hurt the shop, but I got some limbs down up here I got to take care of and get some things done before it gets dark, and maybe get back out here in a couple of days and get after it again. I love it, man. I absolutely love it. It's an exciting time of year, and I'm looking forward to the harvest season. I'm gonna leave it right there, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Hit that thumbs up button. Tell a friend. Hit that notification bell. All the things that I always tell you. And let's continue to make this thing grow. And until next time, we love you. God bless you. This is James from Butler Farms, and we'll be seeing you.